There's nearly a noise that comes with that picture. You can hear those people talking at their tables.
A fancy thoroughbred horse with a professional jockey racing across not a racetrack, but imagined landscape.
I'm Kay Bucksbaum. I'm a mother and a grandmother, and it turns out something of an art collector.
When you look at the Kay and Matthew Bucksbaum collection, there was something which was very touching when I was lucky to enter the apartment for the first time, is that you see a couple falling in love with images and enjoying their life around those pictures.
We didn't consciously have themes in mind, but the kinds of things that we bought, we had a response to them that they were fun, that they had a sense of whimsy or the quiet humor in them.
They spent years and years and years looking for the right work for their collection. And the entire collection embodies that principle. It is thoughtful and very sophisticated.
Among the things that we have bought, perhaps my most favorite is the one by Dubuffet. It looks like the inside of a restaurant in Paris. Lots of tables full of people.
This is Jean Dubuffet, Restaurant Rougeot, one of the 3 versions that the artist is painting in 1961. For the very first time after the Second World War, Paris is happy again. People are in the street, going out, having fun, shopping, eating, talking. And this sense of happiness has a big influence on his practice. And he's going to start the series called Paris Circus, which is now known as the peak of his career. Being French, eating is, I'm not going to say a religion, but something which really matters a lot for French people. And I think in Restaurant Rougeot, he takes nearly a photographic image of a very simple day in the restaurants with all these people eating. There's a table of 4, table of 2, table of 1. There's couples, there's kids, there's old people, there's young people. He takes attention in every single character. There's even on the left side, you can see probably an image of Lily Dubuffet, which was Jean Dubuffet's wife. And then there's also another character which looked very much like Jean. There's a really deep feeling of a very simple emotion. We know Jean Dubuffet as a painter for many reasons. He was a winemaker and wine dealer for a long, long time, and then suddenly in the 40s decides to make painting his main activity. Jean Dubuffet is definitely not against the academy. I think he just has no interest. That's why Dubuffet is so influential for other artists, because he really creates something which is completely new. You go back to what Pablo Picasso was saying, I've been trying all my life to paint as a kid again. And I think Dubuffet has been a kid all his life.
We still lived in Des Moines, and we came to a large Magritte show at the Art Institute. And both of us had a strong response to the show because Magritte's paintings nearly always have something that's paradoxical and sometimes an outright joke.
The Jockey Perdu, The Lost Jockey, is an exceptional painting, not just because it's one of the most iconic motifs in René Magritte's oeuvre, but also the 1926 version with this title marked, in his view, his first surrealist painting. The horse and rider race across a wood, but in classic Magritte fashion, the image and the components within it play with the imagination. The towering white forms of the bilbouquets sprout leafy tree branches. A curtain at right and a constructed pathway behind suggest a stage set. Are we on a type of giant chessboard? I think the reason that people see Lewis Carroll in this work is because nothing really makes sense, and yet all of the components speak to each other. The jockey bridged most of Magritte's life and his entire career as a surrealist. While there are only 10 Jockey Perdus, just 2 are in oil. This means that this painting, executed in 1942, is in many ways the only fully realized oil by this title in Magritte's oeuvre, showing his mature refinement of the theme. The present work boasts an impressive exhibition history, especially the seminal 1992-93 Magritte Traveling Exhibition at the Art Institute of Chicago and the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The work's provenance is equally exceptional. It spent nearly 50 years in the great surrealist collector William Copley's collection and was later acquired by Kay and Matthew Bucksbaum after a long, devoted search. The Bucksbaum Collection is really a beautifully assembled group of artworks. One of the interesting things about the Bucksbaum Collection is how each work is very specific. It isn't trying to be all-encompassing in one particular way. Le Dali, the two Mirots, the Klee and Leger, Henry Moore, Picasso, and Kiefer. They're all very unique works and speak to specific moments within the artists' lives. The two Mirots, while done very close together in 1939 and 1941, are quite different in scale and the medium they're executed in, and they cover the breadth of the war, one created in France and the other in Spain. The collection also embraces important designs such as Judy McKee and African art. Matthew and Carolyn Bucksbaum were together for more than 6 decades. Their entrepreneurial success became the foundation for a generous, quietly influential patronage in Chicago. They made significant contributions to the Chicago Pritzker School of Medicine and the Art Institute of Chicago, where a recent gift from Kay Bucksbaum and her family created the Bucksbaum Photography Center, the largest philanthropic contribution to the photography and media department in the Art Institute's history. In Des Moines, where Kay was from, they supported the Des Moines Art Center, and in Aspen, their second and beloved home. Their lifelong support of the Aspen Music Festival culminated with the building of the Matthew and Carolyn Bucksbaum campus at the Aspen Music Festival and School.
When you look at the Kay and Matthew Bucksbaum collection, you see extraordinary taste, but also challenge. Buying Dubuffet in 1985 or buying Magritte in 1992 were not easy moves, but they saw in all those artists something very singular, very unique, and intellectually challenging. And for me, that makes a great collection.